Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday live stream, Sunday, February 8th. How's it going? My name is Angela. I am a software engineer and front-end developer in St. Paul, Minnesota. On this channel, we do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I like to do vanilla just because that's what I enjoy. I don't really do any frameworks or libraries on this channel just because not because I know they're important. I know you need to know those things to get a job. I just like to practice the basics. That's what we do here. We just practice and keep our skills fresh. And there is a conversation right now happening in the chat about Halo ice cream. I'm a fan. I haven't had Halo in a while. Emilio is here. Emilio, welcome. He is one of the mods. He is loving his Halo ice cream for breakfast. Although, bravo that you are eating Halo mid-morning. Thank you. I love this. I love this about you, Emilio. I already liked you, but I especially love this. Rahul is here. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, it's like less than 300 calories for the whole pint. And it's good. I mean, listen, it's not. Let's not kid ourselves into thinking it's the equivalent of a Ben and Jerry's. It's not, but it's pretty good when you're in a pinch and you need to preserve some calories. And it looks like Emilio has strawberry. I'm also a fan of strawberry. I love that this is the conversation that we started with in the chat. And then coding with Moen. Morning to you here. Morning to you. It is, he called me ma'am. I know that's a sign of respect. You are welcome to call me Angela. It's okay. It is 9:42 p.m. where this person lives. It is 10. Yeah, I think I'm about 11 hours ahead of you. It's 10:45 in the morning. So thanks for staying up late to hang out with us. I know Rahul's in Nepal. He's 12 hours ahead. So he really stays up late to hang out. And I appreciate that. How's everybody doing? We are working on this fun little project. It's called Scenic. This is a design that I did back in 2014 that had sort of just been sitting in my archive. I had completely forgotten about it until a few weeks ago I came across it. We are building out a 4-page static HTML, vanilla CSS, vanilla JavaScript website. We pretty much have all of our pages built, including a working contact form. And the way I like to power a contact form is I use something called FormSpree. I'm on the free version. Sign up for a free account. You can get an endpoint, and it's like you get like 50 submissions a month, which is more than enough. I mean, when I think of all of my forms combined, I don't get 50 in a month. So this worked out really handy. Go back and check out one of those older videos, but we have a nice working contact form. Oh, I was going to pull up my Mailchimp. Let's see if we can get this wired up today. Hang on here while I sign into Mailchimp. Completely forgot. Do. I'm also on the free version of Mailchimp. Let's see here. I know I logged into Mailchimp recently. Let's see here. 2-factor authentication. Let's see here what we got. We can go ahead and do this first. The other thing, I guess I was thinking of this yesterday after the stream. I was just sort of reviewing. I did think of Mailchimp yesterday. some of the things that we implemented. Oh, I don't even have VS Code pulled up yet. Gosh darn it. Okay. So some of the things that we did to get our contact form working is we did a little bit of JavaScript to deal with form validation. We also disabled the button on submission. And we also added, let's look here. Wrong page, Angela. Here we go. We added hidden inputs for the page path and the page URL, which considering that we have the same, oh, one moment. Excuse me, please. Considering that we have the submission, the newsletter sign up on every single page, I feel like this could be useful information to get the page path and the page URL of which page they were submitting for the newsletter from, right? To me, that's useful information. It's easy to just capture that. I think it would also be good to include this honeypot. I mean, these things are not exclusive to the form spree form or a contact form. So I think it would be a good idea to put these things also on the newsletter sign up form. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. And then I think we also want to make sure in our script so this function is running off of it's looking for the form element with a class of form. So this is the contact form. Here's the asides. This is also a class of form. So I feel like our script would automatically, yeah, we haven't tested this. So, and I can't remember, oh, it's not the right thing. I can't remember because I don't pay for Mailchimp. So I don't remember if I have to have a paid Mailchimp in order to have a custom redirect after submission. I just don't remember. So this is probably good that we're setting this up and testing this. And we want to make sure that the method is post. Yeah, so let's do this. We might as well. So I feel like our script, as long as we have a form element with the class of form, it's going to it's going to do all the things for the newsletter sign up, just like it does for the contact form. So, okay, let's check it out and see. What's happening here? Okay, for campaign, there's a lot happening here. Create an email, quick actions, forms. So this is, I think, the form, hosted form. This is the form that I have on my website. Subscriber, create a new form, an embedded form, a sign up landing page, a pop-up form. Let's do embedded form. Form name, we'll call this Scenic. And this is where this is a lot different. Hang on here. So I'll put in my, okay, so this is the actual subscribe. Okay. Hang on, we need to form fields. So we want an email address. I guess a first name. I'm not going to do a last name. I'm not going to do any of this other stuff. And then a subscribe button. So do you see how this is already different than Form Spree, where this is what I'm used to, and this is why I like Form Spree so much. It's because I don't have to do all this in Form Spree. I can just build my form, create my names, my input, my field names, send data. Form Spree looks for the name, captures the data, and builds a nice little grid or a little spreadsheet or a little table of the information. This is what I'm used to, and this is what I don't love, where I have to actually make the form first in the third-party app and then go and match up the fields. I don't like that. It feels inconvenient. And is it also going to make me load a script, which I don't want to do. Look at all of this. I hate this. Yes, look at, it's making me, what is this? Can't you just give me an endpoint? Oh my God, look at all this. Look at all this. No, I don't want to embed this on my page. Can't I just have an endpoint? There's a conversation in the chat that I don't think has anything to do with me. So I'm just going to let it happen. I think I'm finally getting to the point in the channel where people talk amongst themselves, and it's weird. It's weird because it's just after 18 months, I'm getting used to a teeny tiny bit of growth. So to just let it happen. So I really don't love this. I don't want to copy in all of Mailchimp's scripts and things. I just don't want to. Um, I just want an endpoint and I just want to send my data to Mailchimp. That's all I want. Okay, so let's continue. Let's look at this a little bit. Let's copy the code and let's see what's actually here. I don't think I did this at all. I did not. I know I didn't do this on my website. Let's look at my website because I put a Mailchimp sign up form on my website, but it was like a year ago that I did it. So here's my sign up down here. Here's the endpoint. And I don't remember, this must be like the honeypot right here, I'm guessing. I don't think I did anything. I don't think I did any, copied like any of their scripts. Here's my JavaScript. I should honestly look at all of this. I should redo my navigation. I came up with my current system for navigation well after I built my website. Look at all this that I did last year. This is a video banner that I had done at one point, which I'm not going to do again. I didn't put in any special JavaScript for their, yeah, this is reminding me I need to take a look at my website. I must have, when I took this last year, I bet you I just grabbed this. Is this a question for ChatGPT? Okay. I'm making a Mailchimp subscription form for my website with just a name, email, and submit button. When I make the form in Mailchimp and copy the embed code, all I really want is the endpoint. I don't want all of the junk Mailchimp is telling me to embed. I already wrote my own JavaScript for form validation. Can I just use the endpoint and skip all of this? This is a perfect question for ChatGPT. Let's see what they have to say. You can absolutely throw away 95% of that embed junk and just post to the Mailchimp form endpoint as long as you keep the pieces Mailchimp needs: the action URL and the correctly named fields, and ideally the bot or the honeypot field. Mailchimp explicitly documents hosting your own sign-up forms. This way you just need the form action and the U and the ID values that connect it to your audience. The minimum you need for your exact form. Your action already contains the U right here, so I'm guessing that's the user. Here's the ID of the form, or the ID and then the form ID. So you don't need hidden inputs for those. This is a clean version that will work with email and first name and keep the bot trap. Okay, so we're going to swap out our honeypot for this bot trap. Beautiful. Oh, thank goodness. What you can safely remove: the Mailchimp CSS link and inline styles, the Mailchimp validate JavaScript script, that massive inline JS block, the referral badge block, yes, all the Mailchimp response divs since you're handling your own validation UI anyways. 2 gotchas that people hit: redirect behavior success message. If you don't use Mailchimp's JavaScript, the submission flow is more old school and users may be taken to a Mailchimp hosted confirmation thank you page. You know what? I've already accounted for that with my contact form, so that doesn't bother me. Mailchimp notes, one moment to clear my throat. Okay, so the UX may be a redirect unless you build your own flow, which I have. Ajax fetch won't work directly to that endpoint. If you are hoping to fetch the list, manage, subscribe, post endpoint from the browser and stay on the same page, don't care. What I do in your situation, I'm already doing this by disabling my button on submit and opening the form success page in a new tab. Perfect. Yeah. Couple of tweaks so it's solid and you can delete basically everything Mailchimp gave you. Your minimal form setup, the hidden honeypot, drop everything else, target blank. Nice. Okay. We don't even have to do all of this. So we'll swap this out. This is exactly the type of thing that ChatGPT is so good for, this type of problem solving. And then whatever we do, we have to do this on. So we don't need this. You know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to leave these here. Can we add custom fields? It would be nice to add custom fields. And then the name needs to be email capitalized, name, fname capitalized. And then the email, whoops, that's not wrong thing. Input name, we didn't put in a name. name. Okay, so here's our input for the first name, our input for the email. I think I'll change this to first name. And then here's our bot. I want it before the button. And this has an ID of newsletter submit. Is that important? I don't know. Are we going to be able to capture these? Doesn't really seem like I'm getting the option to do a custom field. Yeah. Okay, we'll take these out. So we have first name, email, a bot trap, custom endpoint. So let's make sure that this is updated on all of our pages. We need to push this up to our GitHub pages, and we can test it. It would be nice to see which page people were submitting from. You get what you get, and you don't complain. You sit there and you take it. Am I right? All right, let's go ahead and push this. I didn't change anything here. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Adding an endpoint to the Mailchimp subscription form. Okay. So this will take a minute to go through. And then, yeah, we can also make sure, well, it'd be nice to check and see how things look on mobile. I think we haven't really paid a lot of attention to, oh, and we lost, hang on, gosh darn it. Probably should have looked. Yeah, we don't have our class. What was it? I think it was class, form, and what else? Typical. think it was form and subscribe. Where are we? Right here. Form, subscribe. And, or was it, no, here's subscribe. Was it wrap? It was wrap. Okay. So we just have to fix this. No biggie. Okay, so here's our home page. Here's our blog page. Here's our page. And here is our contact page. And let's make sure. Yeah, good. Okay, good. No problem. We can push this right back up. Second time's a charm. Fixing the form class. Okay. We'll let that percolate for a second. And let's see how it's going. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, one moment. We can also test this on mobile. Okay, let's see here. A couple people in the chat I want to say hi to. Goblin Slayer. The grind never stops. It never stops. I agree. Rayhan is here. Welcome. Glad you could join us. And I think that there's a very exciting conversation happening right now about VS Code themes. So I fully support that. let's see. Oh, and while this is still sort of percolating, do me a favor. If you haven't yet, go ahead and like the video, subscribe. If you are new here, I stream 4 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, I'm sometimes a few minutes late. It is what it is. Sometimes I'm right on time. There's that too. If you like and subscribe, it helps the algorithm. It helps me get this pushed out to more people who might enjoy this type of content. I'm also working, I set a goal this year to grow my Instagram. I've been on Instagram for 14 years and I have 259 followers because I've never posted consistently or really even made an effort to grow an audience. And the last few months, I would say that I've been, I feel like I kind of like rediscovered Instagram and I fully enjoy it. So if you want to hang out over there and follow me on Instagram, it's a good place to message me if you ever have questions about anything I'm doing in the stream, anything front end related. I'm on Instagram a lot, so you could DM me there. And I would say that the content that I do for Instagram is like dev adjacent, is what I'm calling it. I have done some more tech focused type content, but there really isn't a big audience for that on Instagram. I think Instagram is much more like dev lifestyle. And I did try vlogging briefly this past year in 2025. I really don't enjoy it, but I do enjoy making lifestyle content, and Reels is perfect for that because it's so short and sweet. It's 100 times easier than making a full-fledged vlog. So I really enjoy it. That's the type of stuff I do over there. So if you're interested, come hang out with me on Instagram. I like Instagram. I have a good time there. So let's get this pulled up. Where are you? Okay. So we also need to work on our animations today. That little bouncy bounce is not my favorite thing, and we really just put it in as like a test. Silence for 24 hours is here. Welcome, Silence. Oh, this is interesting. Rahul says, I sometimes come across YouTube channels that are live with 0 or 1 viewer where the creator is just building something. It makes me wonder if this is becoming a new strategy for attracting potential employers, a kind of public proof of work and skill. That gives me a dose of inspiration. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about that. I've thought to myself, like, I wonder if some prospective employer would just come across my channel and see me working and be like, "Ooh, we want to hire her." Maybe, I don't know. That wasn't my motivation for doing it. I mean, I was full-time employed when I started this channel, and I wasn't planning at the time to leave my job. For me, it was just purely about practicing. It was literally just, I knew I needed practice and I knew I needed to sharpen my skills. And I had a genuine love of vanilla. And that was my pure motivation. That was my strategy, honestly. And I love that that's still my strategy. I mean, I do want to grow my audience. I do want to be a creator and a freelancer and a consultant and maybe a coach if people need help. I want to do all of those things. I hope that I don't have to get a job again, but I absolutely will if I need to, but I really don't want to. So yeah, I don't know. I think that you would be surprised how quickly I don't know how to explain it. I was already a pretty confident developer when I started doing this a year and a half ago, but it has completely changed my entire trajectory and outlook for the better. I wasn't as confident as I thought I was. I am 10 times more confident now than I was. And it's not about my confidence or my own belief in my ability to do the work. It's a different kind of confidence. It's being willing to go out into public and to say, this is how I think it should be done. This is what I think a best practice should be. And I want to advocate for how I think I can make this a better community or environment or whatever for other people, new people who are getting started. Because the fear for me wasn't, oh, can I actually build a layout? It's, am I willing to stand up and say, this is a way that I think it should be done? And if you want to have a conversation, let me know, but I'm willing to tell you why I think this is the right way to do it. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. I don't even know how to explain how terrible it was for me. And I don't worry about that anymore. I just don't. So, yeah, I think if you, Rahul, especially you're working on getting better at English. I know that you want to like build confidence because English is your second language. Why not? Why not start a channel and build in public and practice your English and talk to people? It'll do wonders. It will do wonders. So I am in favor of this strategy. So, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I have a handle on this, but yes, some of these things are true. So I've only ever lived in the US, so I feel like I have a pretty good handle on what it takes to stay afloat in the United States. One moment. I have allergies today. Hang on. Okay, so let's test our form, shall we? Let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll test on mobile first. And just to keep the data clean, if you're testing in a production environment, it's hard to see. I'm not getting, it's hard to see that focus state against the blue. Opens in a new tab. That's good. Oh, and this is redirecting to my website. So we should probably update that. Okay, what else do we need to do here? Hang on, there must be another setting or something here. So let's go back to... I'm going to do finish later. Here's our embedded form. Okay. Where do I find audience? Hang on. Probably should not be showing people who have signed up. And also, I've used this email before, so okay, let's do this. Oh no, this is the, it doesn't give a date or a time. Oh, sign up source. You're going to tell me? Oh, yes. Okay. What's the date today? Today is February 8th. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, you can't see me. I'm sorry. Let's try this again. I'm glad that we're doing this. Looks like this is what we're doing today, people. But you know what? That's okay because this is important. Yeah, this is important. So I need to use a different email address. So let's do this. Do I have another email address? Because I'm already in the Mailchimp database. Can I do, let's see if I can do something a little different. So I'll say Heidi, test info plus Heidi at jholden.com. Almost finished. We need to confirm. Oh, God damn it. There we go. Just blasted my email address or my address out. Okay. I think everything is working. Okay, so let's just say for argument's sake, I'm gonna have to go back and blur that out. So after the stream processes, this is working. This button is disabled, so we can't resubmit this. We did get the success page, so that works. Yeah, so let's just say for the sake of argument that this is working. I probably should have looked at this. Let's see here, clear. I probably should have looked at this before I decided to stream it. Oh no, it went through. It did go through. So the original one went through. What's today? Yeah, February 8th. So it did go through. Okay, well, you get a sense for how things are working. Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You get an idea of the type of testing that you need to do. Mailchimp is wildly different. Mailchimp is wildly different compared to FormSpree. This is why I like FormSpree so much. You could also, if it's just a matter of gathering names and email addresses, you could just go the FormSpree route because it is so simple. And then you could export the names and addresses from FormSpree and import them into Mailchimp. You could do that too. Let's close the loop here on the thank you page because clearly we have a thank you page. And where is that setting? So here's the form. Settings. Advanced, learn more about customizing your forms. Let's see here. Home, campaigns, automations, audience, analytics, website, create and manage a website. No, content, integrations. Let's see here. Where in Mailchimp do I manage a custom redirect? I can't find it. in the audience form settings. So audience sign up forms form builder. In the drop down at the top, it probably says sign up form. Switch it to sign up thank you page. Yeah, I remember doing this. I remember doing this last time too. Audience sign up forms form builder. Audience. Oh my God. Audience. Oh my God. I'm getting really frustrated with this. So, I think I'm going to have to do this part later, clearly. I think this would be a really good video, though, if I figured out a good way to do this. This might be a really good video, especially when you consider that Mailchimp gives you all that extra garbage. Let's say that you just want to show somebody how to do a sign up form, not embed all of that stuff, have a simpler script for form validation, send your data over to Mailchimp, create a custom thank you page. Clearly, I needed to sit down and work on this before the stream. So I think we've gone beyond what I can do right now, and it is working. So I say that everybody, if you care to really figure out how to close the loop on this, stay tuned. I'm going to do a standalone video on dealing with Mailchimp and making a custom form. That seems like it would be genuinely useful based on the experience I'm having here this morning. So I think we should move on. And I have something that this is a good video idea, I think, for this week. So, okay. Not a tragedy. So what else do we want to work on today? I kind of want to finish making sure that this page is responsive. I don't think there's that much here that we need to do, but I think there's a few things that we need to do. We need to reduce some of this space, and we need to just fix what's going on here. The other thing that I was thinking is this too wide? So this wrap is 75 rems. That's like 1200 pixels. It's not an accessibility best practice to ask your user to read across basically 12 columns. I think 1200 pixels is a good representation of 12 columns. Let's ask this question. What is the maximum character limit, length for accessibility? 80 characters. So let's see, what does 80 characters look like? So if we just went ahead and said max width 75 rems, what if we said max width 80 characters? So I think that we should make just this column right here I don't think the image needs to be I think that there should just be a div around anything that's going to have the paragraphs, the content. So let's add that just to, do we need to do that for the page? Do we need to do that for the page? What is the actual, well, what's the pixel width of, if it's 80 characters, so if we say max width 80 characters, ooh, it's not very wide. So we'll just say it's 730 pixels. What is that in rems? 16. So that would be about 45. That would be about 45 rems. I didn't think of that. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm not going to change it for pages because here's why. Because I think it's reasonable that people would be doing things on these pages, adding images, doing layouts, right? This is meant to be a blank slate, a clean slate for a fresh layout with content and images. So for the pages, I'm not going to change the width. But for blogs, I am going to change the width of just the content. That's my executive decision. So let's go to our blog page. Let's close some of these. Boy, today's kind of turning out to be one of those days, which, you know what? That's completely fine. That's normal. That's life. That's life. It's fine. Who am I trying to convince? Okay, so let's just do a div with a class of content. And then let's style this. So here's our blog. Let's do it right here. So I feel like we want to do I'm going to do blog wrap has content. I think that's the right way to do it. So we're checking to see if a wrap has an element with a class of content, then we want the max width to be 80 characters. But not the whole thing. Oh, it is, but it is the whole thing. So actually, so I think we doesn't need to be the wrap, it can just be the content. There we go. This is a pretty big screen, so I think like a normal laptop experience would be something like this. roughly the same width as our sharing. Yeah, I think that works. I like it. Much more comfortable for reading. Not worried about the length of the title. The length of the title is going to stretch from basically edge to edge, but the text is so big, it's kind of a non-issue to me. So let's make sure that this is responsive. What's the best way to deal with this? I mean, do we just want to stack these? Feels a little bit lazy. So where does this start to break down? Right around right around 650. So if we just change this, the flex direction to column, or if we just let them wrap. I feel like maybe letting them wrap is a better way to do it. Flex wrap. I think actually that's probably a great way to do it because that automatically kind of stacks them. We should probably just make it flex wrap and just let it wrap, right? Just let it wrap. And then let's also make sure that we're controlling some of this padding. Let's clamp some of this padding. So maybe we want it to be 1 rem on mobile, and then maybe we want it to be, well, we know we want it to be 3 rems on desktop, and then maybe 4 VW. Yeah. And then let's change the gap. So maybe we clamp the gap. Or if we leave it at 1 rem, it kind of stacks it nicely. And maybe that's fine. So we still have a nice tap target. Maybe that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with this. Let's make sure that this should we be, how does this look on other pages? Because the other pages have a heading, that's why. So what if this was just one? I think this should just be one rem for mobile. The section blog should just be one rem. And then also, does it seem like this text is... Okay, yeah, that's clamped. So that works. Of course, I'm zoomed in. Where am I here? Okay, just stop. There we go. That's why. So let's just change this padding for the section blog. And I think that we can do that. I'm going to do this with a, well, I think this is going to be better done with a media query. Yeah, 960. So sometimes clamping is the way to go. And sometimes a media query is the way to go. Yeah, I think this works. I mean, I think this looks like a pretty typical blog. Don't you think this looks like a typical blog where you see a nice column of text? I think so. We want it to be readable and comfortable, right? And also, this is open source work. So if somebody wants to take this and use it and modify it for their own content management system, whatever they've got going on, they can modify it. So I'm going to do what I think is the best decision, but also I don't have a set of requirements, right? I'm not working off of a set of requirements that my boss gave me or the product manager gave me or a client gave me. I'm just sitting here doing my own thing. So there's that. So hello, welcome. Thank you for hanging out. We're happy to have you. Glad you could hang out with us. Glad you could hang out with us today. Okay. What else do I want to do today? I'm really kicking myself that I didn't spend some time in Mailchimp before the stream and that I didn't remember. It's all coming back to me now that when I rebuilt my website in April, so yeah, that was almost a year ago when I rebuilt my website back in April and I was doing the newsletter. It's all coming back to me now what a pain in the ass Mailchimp is. So there's that. And I wish that I had spent a little time looking at that before the stream today because I would have liked to just be a little more complete in that process. But yeah, it will be a good video. So let's just I'm not in the mood for... It's been a long week. I'm tired and I'm a little cranky. So let's just do a little bit of QA and call it a day. Let's clean a few things up. So the social sharing buttons we have the markup, we have the styling, it's responsive. We're going to go ahead and do the actual URLs and make those dynamic. We don't, by the way, you don't have to make those dynamic. We could just hard code those in because this is not a dynamic website. It's a static website. I would like to do a little bit of JavaScript for that because I think it could be helpful for somebody who decides to fork this and use it. Like if that was done already and you implemented this for your content management system and the JavaScript was in place to grab all that data and have those links be dynamic, I think that would be a really cool feature. So I do want to do that. Let's figure out what we need to do with our animations. So right now, just as a test, this is kind of bouncy. And also notice how the pages on load fade in. Fade. I personally like that soft fade in. The contact page is not fading in, so let's add that to the contact page. So here's our contact page, here's our blog page, and it's this right here. We're using Animate CSS. So I'm going to add this to the contact page on the body. And also, this is a conversation that we had in the chat a couple of weeks ago when we started this, and I added the CSS for Animate. I think in a perfect world, you would add the transitions that you like and then delete the CSS that you don't need. I'm not going to delete anything. I'm going to leave everything here. So if somebody decides to fork this project and use it for themselves, they have everything that they need if they want to change some of the animations. So I'm not going to be removing any of the unused animations in Animate CSS. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm letting you know why I'm not going to do that, because I think as an open source project, it's nice to leave it in for people in the future and they can do what they want with it, right? Okay, so now our contact page also has that nice fade. Nice. Okay, let's, what are we going to do with this little bouncy guy? I already know what I want to do. So that's our home page. Here's the blog page. Where's our home page? And it's this right here. Animate bounce. Let's go to animate. I think what I would like to do, fade in up right here. I know it's boring. I like subtle. I try to be subtle. I like that. I like that. I mean, I kind of want to do it on the page and the contact page also. Let's try it. So this is what we need. These are the two classes that we need. So here's the, not the blog, here's the contact page. So this is the, that's the hero. Here's the section. Here's the wrap. What is it that is, I think it's the wrap right here. So we're going to add it to the wrap. So there's the contact page. Here's the page. And if there's a place on your site where you want to add this, where you think it looks better or is more impactful, go for it. Play with it. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want. Okay, I love this. I love this. Now you could also use intersection observer, which is part of the vanilla JavaScript API, and you could add on scroll events so you don't trigger your animations until you're scrolling to within a percentage of that spot or a pixel value of that spot. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do any scrolling animations. I just want a nice, subtle page load. So do we want to add this to our blog page? I mean, we could. We could if we wanted to. Do we want to? Just to the image on the blog page. So it would be right here. It would just be this. I think I'm going to. Why does it do that? Oh, it's because this holds the container open. So I bet if we just do it on the image, the figure, which has an aspect ratio, still holds that space open. So let's just add this as a class to the image. Gotta play with it. Yeah. What do we think? She's subtle. Also, I think that I owe Malik some rounded corners on this image. Do I not? So what is this? This is the blog image. Let's look for our styles. Do I want to put it on the image or do I want to put it on the figure? I'm going to put it here. Border radius 10 pixels. And I think we have to do overflow. Do we have to do overflow hidden? There we go. Here, the other thing I was thinking is I feel like I've been a little bit inconsistent with my border radius values. Like some are 5 pixels, some are 10 pixels. So let's just make everything 10 pixels. So let's look for all of our border. There's 10. There's 0 because that's a button. There's the social nav, so we'll change this to 10. Here's this button, so we'll change this to 10. Whoops. I think that's everything. These are the articles on the homepage, so I'm going to change these from 15 to 10. Okay. The other thing I was thinking we could do, because this is, uh-oh. You're not getting a free border radius. I'm just trying to be consistent in the use of border radius. And I did agree to put border radius on all of the images on this build. So, okay, good. We're on a consistent 10. But also you're telling me to wait, so I'm gonna continue to refine, and you tell me what to wait for. So I guess technically I'm not waiting. Do we want to do a border radius here on these also, these wraps? So what are these? These are the page wraps. We can do that. Let's do a border radius on the page wraps. Right here. I'm fair. I actually think it looks nice. Okay, well, you lost 5 pixels in one spot, but my friend, you have gained a lot of border radius in other spots. Julian is here. Welcome, Julian Velez. Thanks for joining us. Happy to have you. Well, so going back to the home page, I had some thoughts. Oh, do we need to border radius this? So this is the hero content, line 320. There we go. It does look consistent. The other thing I was thinking is, I mean, do we just give this whole thing a border radius? Remember how much time we spent on this? Doesn't that look a lot better if the whole thing, since it does technically have a border? What do we think? Oh, wait, what? Oh, whoops. I think it looks a lot nicer to make sure that this all has a border. I do think we're going to have to add to our QA list that these would be blog articles that would conceivably, they would link to an actual blog. So let's make sure that, I'm not going to do it today, but let's put it on our QA list to make sure that these are linking, because these I think would be articles that would link to a blog post. So let's add that to our QA list. So I'm going to say that this is done. I'm going to say that this is in process, and I'm going to do this offline. But I do think that it's important to at least show the full testing experience, right? So let's make sure that I can at least come back after I've done this offline and we show the full process. And I do want to make a video on Mailchimp. I think that would be good. Oh, we need to update the header logo link to point to the home page. We'll do that next. This is done. Make sure the hero images have blur, because I think some don't. This does not have blur. The blog doesn't need blur. The page, the inner pages, the hero has blur. So let's make sure that our home page hero also has blur. And well, now I have to remind, backdrop filter, blur. Do we need to, I mean, do we need to do this also for our regular hero? It's position relative, so we definitely can. Yeah, look at that. And then we're just going to need to update these images. I'm fine with the images that we have chosen for the hero, but we did download images for these. Let's make sure that this is correct. This is linked correctly on the inner pages. So here's our home page. So this is correct, right? It's the index.html of the current directory. Here's the contact page. This is not correct. We would have to do .. to go up a directory. Here is the page. This would have to be .. to go up one directory. Oh, and look at this. We have to change this. This is an H1. This needs to be a div. We changed it there. This is the contact page. This is the page. Here's the blog page. We got this, so this is changed to a div, and this has to be .. Let's try to close out some of these. So this is correct. If I hover on this, and I should be able to click it. Yep. Then if we go to the blog page, yep, that goes to the correct place. We go to the page. That goes back home. The contact page also goes back home. Okay. Good. So this is also done. And this is done. We have a deployment checklist. Oh, we were going to maybe do a parallax. I still want to do a parallax on the home page. I think the home page needs something. I think it would be good to put a parallax right here in between. So we can definitely still do that. I mean, we're in the home stretch on this site. All the pages are built. We have a good chunk of QA done. We're responsive. We're well on our way here. Yeah. What do we think? And Julian says, "How are you, my friend? Excellent. Your work is amazing. Keep going." Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. It was a long week, but that's okay. That's life, right? I think this is a good place. I think this is a good place to call it for today. Let's go ahead and deploy this. I'm just going to say working on QA. Okay. It looks good. Very happy with this so far. I always kind of surprise myself when I work on some things at how much I end up liking them. Yes, I like this a lot. I also like the last project that we did, which was the coffee. And these were both things that I designed and had been sitting for, 12 years, 11, 12 years. But I'm just like, wow, I don't know. Even if it's like it's not going to win an award for, the best design ever. There is something just so incredibly satisfying about designing and building something yourself. I don't know. It feels really good. If you are a developer and you want to work on your skills as a designer, the best way to do it is to it's just like writing code. You just have to do it. You just have to open up Figma or whatever you're using, Photoshop. I use Affinity Photo. And you just have to try to build something, just design something and start coding. Don't worry if it's perfect. Don't worry what other people are going to think of it. The only way that you're going to get comfortable with this entire process or get better at it at all is if you just do it. It's just exactly like writing code. You can't wait till it's perfect or you have a perfect set of requirements or you know exactly what you're doing. Because look at how many things that I change or make decisions on as I'm going, especially in my own designs. I'm constantly changing my mind. You obviously, if you had been given this by the designer at your wherever you work or you're on your team, your organization, whatever, you wouldn't just be making the types of decisions or changing your mind about how to do things. You would be going to your product manager or your designer or whomever and talking to them, right? But when it's your own project, you can do that. And that is where creativity really shines. That's where you are your most creative. When you just sort of embrace the creative process and you realize that, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but creatively things are just going to happen as you go. You're going to realize that something might look good and you'll implement it and you'll be like, wow, I never even thought of that, but look how good it looks. So there's that. Okay. Thank you, Malik. I appreciate that. That's the border radius pizzazz that comes with it. Yes. Listen, I'm not sold on border radius, but I think it looks nice. I think it looks nice. It's just not my choice. It's just not my first choice of how to implement things, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's okay. So, okay. Yeah, I think this is a good time to call it for today. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I got to figure out what's going on with Mailchimp. It's annoying. Mailchimp's annoying. Hey, do me a favor. If you haven't yet, can you go ahead and like this video? Oh, give me a moment. Allergies, man. Do me a favor, like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you're not. Helps the algorithm, helps me push this out to more people who might enjoy this type of content. Follow me on Instagram if you hang out over there at all. I would say that the stuff I do on Instagram is dev adjacent. I love to cook. That's kind of where my mind is right now. I want to make reels about cooking. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing a lot more of. Yeah, and if you have questions for me or you want to reach out or get in touch, DMing me on Instagram is the best place to do that. You can also send me an email if you are so inclined. Everybody, have a great rest of your day. Thank you to the mods. Oh, Malik says, we went from you don't like it to I like it. Let me rephrase. I tolerate it. How's that? No, it's fine. It's just not my first choice. Border radius is just not my first choice on images or elements. I don't know. I just like what I like. I don't have a good explanation. Monique Robinson, practice makes progress. Absolutely. You have to just practice. So, yeah, and going back to what Rahul said about noticing a lot more people sort of building in public, right? I mean, it's a great way to build confidence, get comfortable. It isn't even it's like I was saying before, it's not even about being a confident developer. I mean, that's part of it. It's being it's feeling confident enough to say, I think this is the right way to do it, and here's why I'm going to do it this way, and here's why I think you should do it this way. There's nothing wrong with that. There's more than one way to do any number of things. Sometimes I have a rationale for why I approach something a certain way. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just the way I've always done it, and there's nothing wrong with it because somebody else would do it another way. And it requires confidence to be able to say things like that. And to have those conversations. It's going to make you a much stronger person on your team when you're like kind of trying to fight for something. I mean, I've been in conference rooms and meetings with other developers who just ripped apart my work or ripped apart why I did something the way I did. And I never knew how to respond to that. I was so early in my career. I just had never been put in a position where I had to really sit down and respond to people like that. Now, if I had to, no problem. No problem. I could stick up for myself and talk about why I'm doing something a certain way. So that's, I like that. I like that I've figured that out through streaming. So, okay, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you on Tuesday and Thursday this week. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep working on this. We'll probably get this wrapped up in the next, I would say, week or so, 2 weeks at the most. We'll do another deployment video, and yeah, we'll get the Mailchimp stuff figured out. So, okay, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.